Hi, and welcome to Hansel's podcast, which will be leading the way. And today, my guest is Kathryn Hirst. My name is Stephen Balmer-Walters, and here we go. Good morning, Kathryn.
Good morning.
So, Kathryn, do you want to talk to me about your journey to being a solicitor at Hansel's?
Yes, it's quite boring, really, isn't it? What, from when I did my university? Do you mean, or
Start back
well,
from there.
I'll start back at the very beginning. I'm Norfolk born and bred. Went to Fakenham High School, Fakenham sixth form. Couldn't wait to leave Norfolk at that point. And then I went off to Leicester University for 3 years to study law, which was great fun. Well, hard work, but great fun. And then I went to Guildford Law School for a year and lived with a lady called Betty, who was 72 at the time and full of energy. So that was an absolutely brilliant year. And then I came back here and got a training contract with Hansel's. And that was in 1997.
You said that effortlessly.
Well, only because Chloe, my colleague, reminded me the other day that when I started I think actually it was when I qualified in 1999, she was born.
Wow.
So qualified here into Hansel's and have not left.
And when you moved away, what was that like?
What do you mean, moving from Norfolk or moving from family?
Moving from Norfolk and your family, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I am a bit of a family girl, so when I chose university, I sort of chose a circle, so I was far enough away but close enough for good food and washing and help. So, but it was nice, and I basically played hockey in my spare time and drunk alcohol with the hockey team, so it was good fun.
And I guess, like, when you started then, were there lots of women in the legal profession at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it being totally male-dominated. I think it's the area of law that is a bit more male-dominated, but I wasn't in the minority studying law or at law school.
And do you think that when you fast forward, I'm going to say 20-something years onwards, has a lot changed, Kathryn? Has a lot changed?
Well, it has. I mean, I think when I went into commercial and employment work, it was male-dominated. And I mean, I can remember comments being made, like when I was looking at an aircraft hangar when a gentleman came up to me and said, you do know what a hangar is, don't you? It's not the thing that you hang your clothes on. And that was fine. We dealt with that. But I think it has changed, and it's much more female populated these days.
Do you think, like, in terms of styles, I know in my lifetime they often say, styles are really important, styles sort of make people. Do you think your style has changed from the beginning to where you are now?
My style?
Yeah.
I should think so, because probably when you're younger, you're not quite so confident in yourself and always want to please. And yeah, probably now I'm just more comfortable in my own skin, so probably more relaxed.
And have you been able to use, like, things that you do outside of work to help work be just a nicer place?
I was just thinking about my children. Well, yeah, I mean, I played team sports all my life, so I think I probably brought that into the office, and also banter and having some fun, because you're here for a very long time, so you might as well make the most of it, particularly when it can be quite stressful at times. Yeah. You've got to have a laugh.
So what do the boys think about Mum a lawyer?
I think they're quite proud, but I don't think they really know what I do. I think they think I sit there and send emails all day, which they think's quite boring. So, yeah, I think they're proud. There's elements they're not so proud of, like I should say this really, but me being the non-exec director of Norfolk FA when I stepped in on my son's football match. He ribbed me for days after that, but I think they secretly quite like it.
It's quite interesting because when I think about solicitors, sometimes I think about stuffy rooms. I think about well groomed. I think about, good use of words,
And then I came along.
You actually did. But do you think solicitors get like a raw deal in terms of the image of a solicitor?
I wouldn't say raw deal because that's how some people are, isn't it? So no, I think we as a profession have probably got to work harder to make it clear to people that we are human, and also in some cases we have a sense of humour and a okay personality.
Solicitors have a sense of humour.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I guess as time's gone by, what would you see as some of the key differences between when you started to now?
What, in terms of the law?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the way that we do things has changed significantly. I was telling someone the other day that when I laugh, but I got given a dictaphone on my first day of a training contract, and bizarrely I got sent to the toilet to practice. But so we used to dictate everything, and then you make mistakes by like leaving voicemail messages on the answer machine saying, "Oh, hi, this is Kathryn, full stop, new paragraph." And so we used to operate in a totally different way, whereas now we're much more computerised. But I think the good thing is we've retained, certainly in my area of law, working as part of a team, which is really important to me.
Yeah, let's concentrate on that team bit for a bit, because I guess within a law firm, it's not just one individual, and even if your specialism, it's not just one person. It takes the whole team. What do you think your leadership style is like? Because I guess when you're studying law and you're going through doing all your exams and you're qualifying, no one takes you to one side and goes, right, and this is how you manage a team. So what's your leadership style like, and what have you found as maybe some of the challenges with that?
Well, people might disagree, but I think it's inclusive. I like to think that I give people the opportunity to have their say and that they feel comfortable enough to have their say. I think sometimes the challenge is to get them to feel comfortable. So you have to work quite hard with that because every individual is different.
Yeah.
That can be quite tricky.
And do emotions play a part in that as well?
My emotions or theirs?
Both.
Well, yeah, obviously you've got to understand how people tick, haven't you? You've got to try and get the best out of people, and that's appreciating that everyone's different. Try and keep my emotions in check because often their reactions are not directly or directed at me.
Yeah.
That's just them expressing themselves.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess that's quite important, isn't it? Because as a lawyer, I guess a big part of it is staying calm. I guess in a lot of situations, you're dealing with people that may not be calm.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing is you become more qualified, you get more years under your belt, you understand in transactions or something like that, the clients are going through a series of emotions, and it's not aimed at you personally, but they'll get there in the end. But even if they're selling a business, they'll go through sometimes even anger, fear. And it's the same if they're dealing with a employment exit.
Yeah.
But that's not aimed at you. You just have to try and help them through it as best you can.
So what would you say are some of the qualities that make a good solicitor?
Well, I think one of the most important things is being able to talk to people and to appreciate other people's feelings, so have some empathy, and also being able to apply the law to a particular individual situation, because no one wants you spouting the law.
Yeah.
That isn't that much use to the client. They actually want to know, or in some cases, what the solution is to their particular problem or their situation.
Yeah. And what kind of lawyer do you believe you are?
Are there types?
You tell me. You tell me, Kathryn.
What type of lawyer am I? Well, hopefully I'm like my leadership, inclusive, and I communicate with the client, manage their expectation, stay calm and professional.
So when you're not lawyering,
Yeah.
and you're, living your normal life, what are the things that you enjoy doing?
What do I enjoy doing? Spending time with my family. I thought you were going to say, are you calm? Sometimes not around my boys, no. Sport is my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Not sitting still. I'm not very good at sitting still. Sport, family, friends.
I get the impression that your sport has been a real catalyst for you to be able to be the person that you are, and also when you're away from the office, keeping it real.
Yeah, my mum's been a massive influence in my life, and even when we were going through exams, she always said to us, whatever you do, don't give up your sport. And she always, even when we had children as well, little kids, she would say, don't give up. So she would come and we'd play hockey and she'd look after the children on the sideline. So it's always been really important for my social life, but also for my, good mental health.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions, just because. So you need to choose one or the other.
I'm not very good at choosing
you can't choose both. Okay. So owl or lark?
Owl.
Crisps or chocolate?
Chocolate. Dairy milk chocolate. Don't give me any posh stuff.
All right. So you just like the ready to go
Cadbury's,
chocolate.
dairy milk, whole nut. Yeah. Don't give me the posh.
Okay. Going to the cinema or going for a meal?
Meal. Definitely. You can't talk that much at the cinema, and I like to eat.
Well, see, I would have probably chose cinema, but hey, I like a good movie.
Well, I don't mind, but at the cinema, you can't talk. I like to ask questions.
So I always think with podcasts, it's always nice for the listeners to have a takeaway. So what advice would you give to a new person coming into this space as a lawyer?
Don't be too hard on yourself. I think, I think we all set really high expectations, and we're not going to get everything right all the time. You've got to do the best you can and, learn from other people.
My last question, I promise. Where would you like to see Hansel Solicitors in the next 5 years?
Where would I like to see Hansel? I'd like to see it grow, but I would also, and Dave, our business development person, knows, I think we need to go and get the awards that we're entitled to. We deserve.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today. I will have another person to interview soon, but thank you for listening.